The Penguin Brief centers around the problem that UK secondary students don't see people they can relate to in what they're reading, and are consequently becoming disengaged with books. The primary audience of this brief is UK 11 to 18-year-olds who don't feel represented in books. A secondary audience would be socially conscious young adults and adults who want to see more diversity. We start with the truth. Penguin has an incomparable legacy. It opened 1930s British society to reading by removing social barriers and connecting readers with books. In addition, books really the problem we have is that UK secondary students don't see people they can relate to in what they're reading, and are consequently becoming disengaged with books. The primary audience of this campaign is UK 11 to 18-year-olds who don't feel represented in books. A secondary audience would be socially conscious young adults and adults who want to see more diversity. We start with the truth. Penguin has an incomparable legacy. It opened 1930s British society to reading by removing social barriers and connecting readers with books. Added to that is the fact that books really do stay with you up to the last page, stimulating your brain, reconfiguring your brain networks, and even changing how you react in real life. Leads us to the insight that, like how Penguin left a mark on society, a good book leaves a mark on you, and the right books stay with you forever and change you forever. Books that have representation with authentic, diverse characters have immeasurable impact on these readers, this audience who are in the process of finding themselves, questioning and mapping out the world. This audience can challenge stereotypes and bias, recognize themselves, affirm their own identity, and see the possibilities through reading. And this is how we can champion representation. By reading to change our perspective, we bring that change into our world and affect others. This boils down to the simple idea of books that stay. We create a fantastical world where the books you finish stay with you and live on as living tattoos. As you read the book, it is transferred onto you, and it grows with time. It can grow, it can pulse, it can murmur, and these tattoos are alive and glow. I chose to use tattoo as a world building, first because a tattoo is a very strong and clear visual representation of permanence. The idea of living and dying with it is the same as the idea of books staying with you forever. Using tattooing as this campaign's world building also creates this very beautiful analogy between tattooing and representation. In subcultures like Japan, tattooing is stigmatized and people with tattoos are discriminated against. Elsewhere, though more widely accepted, tattoos can still bear stereotypes. Similarly, there are devastating stereotypes and bias against people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, people of different genders, people with disabilities, etc. On the other hand, in many cultures, especially indigenous cultures, tattoos are sacred and hold lots of power. And just in general, tattoos can be important and empowering to the person who wears it. And I believe that representation in books holds that same incredible power and can act as an amulet and strengthen you. I like to think how similar to how you can cover up horrible tattoos, you can also recognize the effects of the lack of representation or bad representation and choose to fix it. And this world building adds to our idea to result in books that stay. Representation is more than skin deep. Our visual identity is fantastical, whimsical, using realistic photography as a base to heighten the contrast with the fantastical elements and make the world building more authentic. More specifically, we can have the logo altered to have it glowing, like the tattoos, which have a whimsical, simple style. The first execution is the advert, which is the heart of the campaign. The advert shows how book can stay with you and empower you as you grow up. It follows the teenager protagonist as they face stereotypes and bias, and they overcome it with self-confidence and assurance they gained from their books. And as time moves on, we see the book tattoos seeping onto the protagonist and being joined with more. In a satisfying, heartwarming resolution, we see the protagonist standing up in each situation with determination and self-assuredness. And at the end, we see the protagonist happy and self-confident, glowing bright and colorful with the tattoos moving and alive. And in the very final instance, see how they have touched the world this way. The next execution category is out of home. Launched before the advert airs, the visuals are taken from the advert, with the iconic showing the whole scene with the reader, while the portraits will concentrate on specifically on the book seeping onto the reader at the point of contact. Most importantly, after the advert airs, the iconic and portraits change to reveal the glowing. And these adverts need to pull people in and be visually strong enough to create an atmosphere and to bring to life the story in this fantastical world. As a minor stunt under this category, we can distribute lots of paper flyers with paper slips attached, enough to create a citywide or townwide presence and make people wonder. Doubling as a temporary glow-in-the-dark tattoo, the slip also encourages the person to send in tattoo ideas or books of representation that they want to celebrate and leave a description of themselves they want to see in books in the mailbox of a phone number listed. And as a response to that message, they can receive a range of answers from automated text messages to specific ones or voice messages. Continuing with that stunt, we utilize digital out-of-home displays of different sizes, and as the person with the slip passes them, the displays light up with the name of the campaign and shows the glow following the person. You can also make use of motion sensors to make the displays more interactive and interesting. The next execution category is social. As part for the Instagram filter, we can incorporate AR. The user can touch any book or any promotion displays of the campaign and see the glow move on to the user at the point of contact. And it's a simple, very effective way of enabling the user to experience that world themselves. For the Instagram story ads, we can make use of swiping up action to direct the viewers to the dedicated website under Penguin. We have the book at the bottom of the screen, and they swipe up, the glow moves from the book to the hand holding it. With the social assets to be cohesive with the whole campaign, so we want to use the current visuals we already have. We can animate the out-of-home portraits, we can feature Easter eggs or the tattoos and snippets of the tattoos in action from the advert. The social assets, like this one shown here, will stop people from scrolling past it on the Instagram feed because of its unusualness. Our next execution category is community. We ask public to send in tattoo ideas for their favorite books of representation or the title, and Penguin can do the tattoos. We spread the word using with our own media or network, creative platforms like Talent House on MedBriefs, Hint Record. We spread it through schools, booktubers, and bookstagrammers. The best one gets chosen by the author and drawn on them and animated with a glowing effect. And this is also the opportunity for us to celebrate those authors with in-depth interviews. And here we have an example of Valerie Blackman with a mock-up of a tattoo that celebrates her Nazi cross stories. Penguin's dedicated page for this campaign contains all the information, and as an extra bonus, a community platform for recommendation of books with representation. In this platform, we'll have a look of a tattoo parlor and can be accessed in VR as well as normal 2D. You can choose to be the one who wants to get a tattoo or the tattoo artist who helps find the perfect one. And this can happen in real time with the users interacting and chatting, or we can also use log previous requests sent in through the phone number and use AI for the recommendations. You can also organize special events where the authors show up as special tattoo artists. For partnerships, we can partner with inclusive tattoo places. 3 of them are listed below. As an example, we can ask each place to design tattoo books at the center and feature those works in our out-of-home adverts, social media, etc., and credit the place. You can also film a small documentary series interviewing customers and tattoo artists about what representation means to them as they care about diversity, and in exchange, you can also stock their waiting spaces for books of representation. Finally, as a permanent fixture for the future, Penguin should consider arranging a specific category for works of representation or incorporate as a filter in existing categories to help users refine the search. It is really a simple, but again, a really effective way to make those works more easily accessible for this audience. Thank you for listening.